Marissa Leviani here. In the last episode, we learned why project management is important as a student. I am already convinced this series on project management fundamentals for youth will help with setting up my new business, which is in event planning. Every strong project starts with clarity. Before you or I jump into action, we need to know why it matters, who it affects, and what success looks like. So let's watch episode 2 and build that foundation.
Project management at the core of it is really all about the people. So let's start there. Who is involved and what are the processes? The first person is the project sponsor. A project sponsor is an individual who provides support and or obtains funding for the project. And that's pretty important. Someone who has a vested interest in the success of this project. Now, the project manager is really super important as well because they work with the team to develop a schedule and discuss the potential risks that could be involved in taking on the project. The project manager is also responsible for ensuring that the project is completed on time, within budget, and on the stated schedule. The team members, who are appointed individuals and or volunteers who work together to complete project tasks and deliverables. They are also really critical members of your team. And finally, stakeholders. Stakeholders are individuals or organizations that have an interest, either positive or negative, in the project's execution and the outcomes. This is probably the most important slide in this entire presentation because it shows you all of the core project management processes and how they interrelate and work together to help you from starting your project to closing. The first process is really about initiating. In this process, you'll be defining project goals, you'll be identifying your stakeholders, you'll be gathering information to understand the requirements of your project, and you'll use all of that information to develop a project charter. Next, once you've developed your project charter, you'll move into the planning process. Here's where you're going to create your project plan. This is the place where you'll define scope, you'll take a look and develop your schedule, you'll also consider your budget. This is also the part of the process where you'll identify risks and the mitigation strategies that you might employ along the way. Now, the next part of the phase is executing. Executing is the part of the process where you start to allocate and manage all of your resources, and this is where you're actually implementing the project plan. Now, you'll notice that the fourth stage, monitoring and controlling, looks as if it's looping back and forth between planning and executing. And that's important because monitoring and controlling happens throughout the planning and executing process. This is the place where you'll track your progress, you'll measure key performance indicators, you'll manage the different changes that arise, you'll help to ensure the quality of your overall project, and you'll revisit your project plan when you need to in order to make some of those changes that are necessary. Finally, once you are satisfied with the end result of your project, you'll move to closing. Closing is where you finalize those deliverables and obtain your stakeholder approval. You will document all of the lessons learned, and you'll finalize and celebrate. That's really important to celebrate because without a celebration, there's no way that you'll be able to finish off the project in the best way possible. Okay, let's dig into the initiating process. This really is the most critical part of the process where your project goals are defined and the why is truly identified. In the initiating process, you determine and decide what product or service is being developed. You collaborate and clarify the project need, and you gather any information to help you understand the requirements of the project by answering the what, the when, the how, and the why questions. In order to get you familiar with this part of the process, we've developed this short graphic that helps you to think through those critical questions in the initiating process. Answering a few basic questions will really help to guide a project from start to finish and to help you create that important project charter that outlines the reason for taking on the project in the first place. Questions to consider is why is the work necessary? What are you going to deliver or accomplish? Where will the project outcomes be used, delivered, or built when appropriate? Who are your stakeholders? Are they customers and users, team members, government, etc.? When will you produce the deliverables? And how will you accomplish and manage the objectives? How will you measure your success? If you have time, this is a great opportunity to practice the initiating process. So pause here and take that slide that we just talked about, and on a separate sheet of paper, if you were planning a birthday party for your best friend, answer these questions: why, what, where, who, when, and how.
That's it. The most important visual has been shared. Do you recall how many phases are in the whole project management process? I created a mnemonic to remember. IPAC. I. Initiating. B. Planning. E. Executing. C. Closing. We have uncovered the starting point of every strong project. It felt like I was back in Miss Sheila's year 4 English lesson. 5 W's, 1 H. Oh, we also have homework before the next episode. Really? Back to school stuff, huh? Well, it's all part of learning. So let's get better at managing our resources, shall we? In the next episode, we'll break the work down into scope, deliverables, and manageable tasks. See you then!